the question, where did this virus come from? And I don't think it's natural. I think it was introduced for the reason and all the hype that's going on.
I think every life matters. Every individual life matters. Then we're not serious. And that's why we're saying this is a moral decay if we try to categorize it that way. We're not at the mercy of the virus. As you know, over the weekend, we crossed 100,000 reported cases of COVID-19 in 100 cases. It's certainly troubling that so many people and countries have been affected so quickly. Now that the virus has a foothold in so many countries, the threat of a pandemic has become very real. The great advantage we have is that the decisions we all make as governments, businesses, communities, families, and individuals can influence the trajectory of this epidemic. We need to remember that with decisive early action, we can slow down the virus and prevent infections. Among those who are infected, most will recover. Of the 80,000 reported cases in China, more than 70% have recovered and have been discharged. It's also important to remember that looking only at the total number of reported cases and the total number of countries doesn't tell the full story, except the potential the virus has. I think this particular issue, especially about our senior citizens or the elderly, is very, very important. If anything is going to hurt the world, it's a moral decay. And not taking the deaths of the elderly or the senior citizens as a serious issue is one of the moral decays, and Mike had said it. Any individual, whatever age, any human being matters. And it pains us to see, actually, in some places, when they want to move into mitigation because the virus kills seniors or older people only. That's dangerous. Whether it kills a young person or an old person or a senior citizen, any country has an obligation to save that person. So that's why we're saying no white flag. We don't give up. We fight to protect our children, to protect our senior citizens. At the end of the day, it's a human life. We cannot, I have said this many times by the way, we cannot say we care about millions when we don't care about an individual person who may be senior or junior, who may be young or old. So that's what WHO is saying. And for all countries, a comprehensive approach, a blended approach, an approach that can help contain this outbreak is very important, because the death rate from this outbreak is high. We shouldn't categorize it by young or senior. Of course, to understand the epidemiology, it's fine to do that. If we don't care about one individual, whether it's old or young.
The news worldwide has been dominated by the coronavirus and will be for some considerable time yet, it would seem. And with every day that passes, more and more events that come to light and decisions that are being made indicate what I was saying in my interview with Gareth as the public videocast last week, where I'm looking at the potential for so many things that this global cult wants to impose being possible to promote as solutions to the problem of coronavirus. And on the basis of who benefits, he who most benefits from a crime is the one most likely to have committed it, the fingers definitely start to point around the world for the reason of justifying lots of things that would not otherwise be able to be sold. And because of humanity's, not in everyone, but certainly enough, you could call it innate fear of death and the unknown, for panic to start to be triggered. People in a fear of not surviving, fear of the unknown, fear of death, will just let anything happen, indeed demand it happens, to protect them from what they fear. And in so many ways, it really doesn't matter. It matters to the people who get it, of course. It doesn't matter, though, from this problem, reaction, solution perspective, how dangerous the virus is. What matters is how you can get the population in large numbers to believe how dangerous it is. And therefore, who benefits from the outbreak? No one, except those who wish to use it to impose a draconian, tyrannical, top-down imposition on the population. And of course, Big Pharma and whoever comes up with the vaccine. False claims and conspiracy theories flagged up by leading global health organizations. In other words, flagged up by the purveyors of the official narrative. And anything you say that's at odds with the official narrative is by definition a false claim or conspiracy theory, as it seeks to ensure users are not misinformed about the virus and its risks, are not given any other possible explanation than the official one. And all this was discussed, caught on tape, in this Gates World Economic Forum simulation 6 weeks before it broke out. Users who search for coronavirus on Facebook will see a pop-up at the top of search results directing them to the World Health Organization or local health authority for the latest information. In the case of UK users, to the National Health Service website. It's a total scam. And if you are interested in truth, if you are in any way respectful of individual freedom, what you do is you provide a forum for all information and all views and opinion to be put forward. So what you're looking at is a problem which allows the solutions to go into the very fine detail of people's lives. The death rate of people infected with coronavirus is significantly ramped up among people over the age of 80, officials said. And the chief medical officer for England, Professor Chris Whitty, said that overall around 1% who became infected might end up dying. The government's new battle plan for tackling the virus states that the elderly and people with pre-existing illnesses would be at the highest risk. And he's saying 80% of the population, worst case scenario, could be infected. What is also indicated in a number of places is that the elderly would not take priority in treatment if the system became overloaded. So everywhere you look, you see this. Another thing I find interesting is that we have this attack on and this a campaign against the regime in Iran. And I'm no supporter of the regime in Iran. I think it's horrible. There are others around the world just as horrible that are actually on the other side attacking Iran. But in the early period of its expansion, so many people in the Iranian government, not the Iranian nation, they are affected as well, of course, but the Iranian government have actually been infected with this coronavirus, gone down with it. Is that a coincidence? Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't.